So I'm going to edit the video, obviously.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, so it isn't like, I mean, I'm recording right now, but it isn't like even as I'm talking right now, this won't be in the video.
Right.
Unless you say something funny. Hi, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Straight Edge Tiki. My name is Ray, and I am in a town called Lacey, which is about an hour and 15 minutes south of Seattle, very, very close to Olympia.
Yeah, in fact, just down the Olympia border is about 200 yards that way.
200 yards.
Yeah.
So needless to say, it was back before cell phones. If you had to call your buddy that lived in Olympia, it would have been long distance. Remember that stuff? Mm-hmm. This is my buddy Rick, and he came up with a drink that I'm very, very curious to try. And you were telling me about it, and you're like, yeah, this is a drink that actually uses Italian sweet cream.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, well, that's something that you put in a coffee, not in a tiki drink. And you're kicking around the names for what this drink could potentially be called. But I think you settled on, was it?
Italian Thunderstorm.
Italian Thunderstorm. And I was saying, like, we were saying, like, Mediterranean or Polynesian. I'm like, no, Italian. Italian's a lot easier.
How do I make this as tiki as possible?
Well, it looks like you don't, you know?
So some drinks you just don't.
Yeah. So, Rick, tell us about this drink, or how did you and your wife is off camera right now. Well, not your wife, your girlfriend.
Yeah, girlfriend.
Amy.
So, Amy and I were trying, we were trying to kind of taper off, alcohol, just from health perspective. And, I typically don't drink during the week. And, when I do, it's on the weekends. And and she just was wanting to taper off and, try to get healthier and, there's just so many empty calories in alcohol. And so we were trying to think of, what ways can we, do some other things and still get some of the tiki drinks.
Yeah.
And we'd seen some of the other videos that you had done. Like I think it was Loco Coco.
Yeah, the Coco Loco.
Yeah. And so we started trying stuff like that, and then we started playing around with some things, and I found I started looking at some of the different non-alcoholic spirits. And I had seen Liars and the Ritual, and so when I had gone to Total Wine, I think I'd bought a bottle of the Ritual one, and then I bought a 4-pack of these. Yeah. And so we just started kind of experimenting, and Amy one day came in here and she was like, "Here, try this," and she'd basically taken the Liars.
Liars, dark and spicy. So is this their answer to like a dark and stormy kind of?
I guess so. I guess maybe if you'd put that with the ginger beer or something like that.
Yeah.
But so, and I would have never thought to put a coffee creamer in there. But when you think about some of the other cocktails that are out there, that I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, but some of the ones that have cream.
Like a painkiller.
Like painkiller or, some of the other ones.
Pina colada would have that.
And so it was like, wow, I would have never thought that. But she somehow or another, she was just like, hey, I'm going to try this. And, and she did and came out here and was like, oh my gosh, this thing is amazing. So we started, we tried that. And then I started reading the ingredients on the back of that. And then I started kind of coming up with my own concoctions where I would take molasses and cinnamon sticks and cloves and ginger, slice up ginger root and water, and then just kind of simmer them for a couple hours just to get all of the flavors out of them. Yeah. And so we've come up with some other drinks of like the mojito I was telling you about. That's
I'll be on the next episode.
Yeah, that non-alcoholic, and it turned out really well too. So I'm still kind of experimenting with some of the mixes on that kind of substitute for rum. But it's been fun just experimenting.
And that's the cool thing about like with tiki cocktails to begin with. It's all about the experimentation, right. And I've seen it across the board. There's drinks that are using like Amaro or using saline solution or like whatever, and it's like there's no reason why that experimentation can't go with non-alcoholic cocktails as well. And the thing is, now for the record, you and Amy still drink.
Yeah.
So you're not like completely abstaining from it like I am.
Yeah, but we're trying to taper that even more.
But that's cool though. I mean, because that's the thing. I mean, if there's any kind of message that I want to give with this series, it's just like you don't have to quit drinking, but like cutting down is not a bad idea.
Right.
Go out, have your 2 tiki drinks, but make the third one a non-alcoholic one.
Right. Where, you think about some of the strength of some of the tiki drinks that are out there. It's like you wouldn't want to be pounding those all night long. So, instead of having like 2 in a row, maybe have a non-alcoholic one in between. Many times you'll hear people are like, "Oh, I drink a glass of water between my regular drinks," or something along those lines.
Yeah, but you're drinking that water to just get that down you so you can get to the next drink.
Right.
The nice thing about a non-alcoholic drink is that because you can enjoy it just as if you would if you were drinking a regular drink.
And I think what's interesting to see is as people go to tiki bars, across the country, and out here as well, that the menu for the non-alcoholic drinks is increasing.
Yes, it is, and that makes me happy. It makes me happy because a lot of times, like for example, like at the Devil's Reef, he had 2 non-alcoholic drinks on that menu. And then I actually set up a straight edge tiki night. It was just sort of like, hey, it's more of like an awareness kind of thing. Like, hey, just come out and, you don't have to drink them, but hey, if you want, try these non-alcoholic drinks. And then Jason came up with what he did is he took like 7 more of his cocktails and like altered them to be non-alcoholic. And he's like, yeah, these are on the menu now. And they are. So right now, if you go to the Devil's Reef, there's not 2, but there's actually like 8 non-alcoholic cocktails. And they're all variations on the drinks that would be alcoholic. And that makes me happy. Yeah. I mean, the main thing I keep on talking about when it comes to not drinking and being into tiki is like felt like being left out.
Right.
And with these non-alcoholic drinks, I don't feel left out at all.
Yeah.
I'm drinking something that's tasty. The only thing that's different is like, I'm not getting drunk, or I'm not getting buzzed. But that's okay, though.
Right.
I mean, I'm all about the socializing anyway, and it's nice to have something good to drink.
Right.
So what's the story with the drink? Only 2 ingredients?
Yeah, really, it's 2. Minus the ice, it's 2 ingredients.
All right. Well, let's make some
Italian Thunderstorm. Open up one of these.
So, just one?
Might need to do both of them.
So essentially, kind of just fill up the Mai Tai glass to 3/4 of the way or something like that.
Yeah, about that.
And what is this exactly? Is it classic mix with a balance of spiced ginger and lime? So it is essentially a dark and stormy.
Yeah, and then.
And which I'm guessing alone by itself would probably be a great drink.
Well, here's a little bit left in that.
Should I try that?
Yeah, go ahead and try that.
Yeah, that's a dark and stormy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's good, too. It's actually really good. And so for the record, everyone out there, even just getting these would be fine. So how did Amy come up with the idea of adding a cream to this?
I have no idea, but it turned out pretty well.
Here's to Amy.
And if you want it a little creamier, you just add a little bit more cream.
Oh, this is great. And it's something about the Italian cream that kind of gives us the body that it needs.
Yeah.
It's just, how would you describe this drink? And then I'll describe it too.
Yeah. So, depending on how much cream that you want to have in it, you can have it super creamy.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, you look at your coffee, it's like, am I more of a black coffee drinker that likes a little cream? Or do I want it, super creamy? But basically you've got a little bit of the bite and the kick from the Lyre's dark and spicy.
Yeah.
So you've got some of that bite from that, but you add that coffee creamer. And you can also, and I think we first started trying it with the 0 calorie. So it's
Yeah.
So if you're concerned about trying to reduce calories, you can use that as well too. And
Was it 70 calories for 1 can?
yeah, and we didn't even use a full can for both of these.
And I'll tell you what, Rick, I'm glad I tasted this alone, because it is indeed spicy, as a dark and stormy should be. And then when I tasted it with the cream, it completely altered what the drink is, and it gives it this body to it. I like the cream to it, but it kind of cuts out the spicy part of it, the bite, and it makes it really, really good. This is really good.
Yeah, just kind of a blended smoothness about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm gonna try this, and again, normally like I'll have like a list of ingredients and stuff like that, but it is literally just a Liars dark and stormy, dark and spicy, and the Italian sweet cream. So Total Wine Safeway. Hey everyone, just want to let you know that if you're interested in getting a straight edge Tiki shirt, you could buy your own over at my website, tikiwithray.com/buy a shirt. They're $20 plus $8 shipping.